Let's talk about motivation and ADHD. Turns out there are 3 sneaky reasons that ADHD brains struggle so much with motivation, and none of them are about you being lazy. As a neuroscience professor with ADHD, I have struggled with this for years, and I see it in my clients all the time. The good news is the fixes are actually simpler than you would think. So in this video, I'll show you why motivation isn't just about trying harder when you have ADHD, and exactly how you can start feeling motivated again so that you can take action. So let me show you. Reason number 1, you aren't excited or interested in whatever it is you're trying to do. Even as a kid with undiagnosed ADHD, I managed straight A's in high school, usually by cramming the night before. Then I finally hit a wall in college and bombed my first biology exam because it turns out that you can't just study for a couple of hours and ace things in college. Now, because I cared very much about getting good grades to get into grad school, I was willing to revamp my study habits. I got a study buddy and I made some good study playlists. And the only reason I was willing to put more effort into studying was because studying I knew impacted an outcome that actually mattered to me. In other words, I had a really strong why. Now, by making the process more interesting and adding some accountability with the study buddy, I also helped myself do more of something that I really didn't like. And this is one of the biggest reasons that you're not motivated. Most daily tasks are boring, and ADHD brains are driven by interest, novelty, and fun. If a task isn't exciting, it can feel impossible to start. Now, the good news is that the problem itself gives you the solution, which is to inject fun, novelty, or interest into what you're doing. So for me, it was partly about finding a study buddy, so I had some accountability, and making sessions social and rewarding. But the biggest reason was that I had a why, and that was good grades to get into grad school, and so failing tests really wasn't an option. For you, maybe it's that you hate paperwork. Honestly, same. And if that's you, pair that paperwork with your favorite music or a hot beverage, or gamify it by timing yourself to see how quickly you can get through it. Or remind yourself that filing that paperwork is going to take you one concrete step closer to that goal, or maybe a promotion, or starting that business. Listen, ADHD brains need excitement or a meaningful outcome to get moving. And that is just a feature. It's not a flaw, by the way. So figure out how to make the process more engaging or connected to a result that you really care about. And when you find yourself not wanting to start, remind yourself of your long-term why, so that your brain can get excited and interested in at least getting to the next step. Now, if you want help figuring out your why and what your next steps are, you can download my free ADHD Clarity Compass linked in the description. It takes about 15 minutes. And you can get on your way today. And remember, you are not lazy. Your brain just needs a reason to care. So even if you are interested or excited about the outcome of whatever you're going to do, reason number 2 can still get in the way, which is that you haven't set yourself up for success. Now, I can't count the number of times that I've decided that I'm going to start working out. And I always thought for some reason that it had to be early in the morning. That's probably because that's what all the cool kids on the internet were doing. But let's be real, in the morning, it is cold. It is dark. I feel a little bit sick before I've had breakfast. And I am a champion snooze button presser, which drives my husband absolutely nuts, by the way. I'm just not the jump out of bed and seize the day type. And pretending I was never worked. So I would just abandon my workout schedule 1 or 2 days in. So what finally worked was scheduling my workouts, but scheduling them when I knew I would have energy, with a Peloton class preloaded to keep me from getting bored while I worked out, and a couple of pairs of overpriced but very comfy running socks. Bombas, anyone? And suddenly, exercise became doable because I set myself up for success by making it enjoyable and just doing it in the way that worked best for me without worrying about how I should be working out. And here's the lesson. There is no medal for struggling or doing it the hard way. The easier you make something, the more likely you are to succeed. You don't win at exercise because you do it early. You win because you do it, whenever that is. So showing up is the goal. Essentially, that means make good decisions easier and bad decisions harder for you. So whether that is setting up your workout clothes and your water bottle the night before, having your phone across the room so that you can't snooze. Little actions like that are literally like 90% of the battle. So next time you are trying to make a change, ask yourself, how can I make this easier for myself to do what I want to do and harder for myself to do the things that I don't want? And that is how you set yourself up to actually take action. Now, even once you've made it simple for yourself, and maybe you've also made it a little more exciting or interesting, you might find that you still don't feel motivated. And that brings us to reason number 3. It's that you're waiting to feel motivated. Motivation is actually uncommon and unpredictable and unreliable. Picture a roller coaster, okay? And not the big drop, but like that slow, long climb to the top of that very first hill. The ride cannot start without a little bit of help to get up that first hill. Our ADHD brains work the same way. Getting started is the hardest part. And here's why. Starting any task requires dopamine. And guess what? If you have ADHD, you're already running low. So your brain will literally find any excuse to avoid starting the thing. Mine is a pro at rationalizing why I should put something off until later. But once you're over that first hill, momentum takes over. The roller coaster needs no more help to finish the entire ride. And so here's a truth that most people get backwards. We think that feelings drive our actions, but most of the time it's actually the reverse. Taking an action will give you that desired feeling. So starting leads to motivation. It's almost never the other way around. Even some of the people that do things over and over with high consistency will tell you that they almost never feel motivated. But they've set themselves up for success, they've made it easy on themselves, and they know to just start, because once they start, they will continue. So here's a way to make it feel safe for your brain to just get started. It's giving yourself a free exit pass. So if you want to start feeling motivated, you need to get started even when you don't feel like it. And the way to do that is to just take messy, imperfect action. Make any progress for 5 minutes. Because listen, you can do anything for 5 minutes. Have to write a report? Tell yourself, I'm just going to make some progress climbing that first hill, and start jotting down some crappy bullet points. And if you're like me, you will look back and thank past you for making any progress at all, because you won't be staring at a blank page anymore. And here's the important part. Here is the key. You have to permit yourself to stop at 5 minutes if you're not feeling it, with no shame. No shame. That way your brain knows, I'm going to start this thing and I know I'm going to hate it. And if you do, you just stop. If you don't, you get to keep going. So this makes it way less threatening for your brain to start a task. And the more you do it, the more your brain will be willing to use this technique in the future. And you can stop if you want, keep going if you want. And you may find that you often are willing to keep going. Either way, you win here and you can celebrate the progress. So if you are unmotivated, you are not lazy. You just need to find a way to prime your ADHD brain to make progress. Now, once you've tackled that motivation hurdle, you will need to make this essential shift. So watch this video next, where I will walk you through exactly how to do it.